Hi, my name is Suman Anil Akiramish. My metric number is TG20023. Today I will be presenting about my assignment 2 project for computer programming. Okay, I will be presenting the flowchart. We're starting from begin. Then we declare our variables integer, choice, float is weight, height, BMI. So then later display BMI calculator. Choose 1 to calculate BMI in kilogram and meter. Choose 2 to calculate BMI in pound and inches. So then when the user will input their choice. So now if the choice is equals to 1, it will display enter your weight and height, and the user will enter their weight and height. So now if the weight and height is less or equals to 0, it is accept as true statement, and we will repeat all over again the flow to enter your weight and height. But then if it's a false statement, the BMI will be calculated, which is BMI equals to weight divided by height power square. Now if the user enter 2 as their choice, it will display enter your mass and height. User enter their weight and height in pound and inches. Now we use weight and height. If the weight and height less or equal to 0, we accept it as true statement and ask the user to enter their mass and height again. But if it's a false statement, the BMI of the user will calculate it with a different BMI formula, which is weight divided by height power square multiply 703. Now we use this concept to ensure that the user enter a valid number and the number is not equal to 0 or in a negative form. Then what happens if the user enter their choice different than 1 and 2? So now when the user enter the choice, for example like 3, it will ask the user again to choose 1 to calculate BMI in kilogram or choose 2 to calculate BMI in pound and inches. Next. So next we'll continue with the BMI value V obtained from the calculation. Now if the BMI is less than 18.5, it shows that he or she is underweight. If the BMI is 18.5 and above and 24.9 below, it is normal. It shows the user that they are normal. And if the BMI is between 25 and 29.9, it displays that the user is overweight. And if it's not, it will display that the user is obese. And I've had some few tips to make it more interactive when it's come for output. And that's the end of the flowchart. So okay, now we'll have a look on our code. Okay, so here we will see. Okay, so first we do the first steps as we do the includes and everything, and then define the variable identity choice, float, weight, height, BMI. Now get into the main. We use a do while here. So now this do part, which is this whole thing, which asks the user to enter the choice either 1 or 2, will be keep repeated as the user enter choice different from 1 and 2. Like let's say they enter 3, 4. So this statement will be kept repeated. But then if it's a false where user enter 1 or 2, it go to the next step for the BMI calculation. So now, if choice equals to 1, now here we have another do while here to ensure that the weight and the height is not 0 or negative value. So this part will be keep repeated, which is enter your height, weight. If the user enter 0 or negative value in either part, which is weight or height, let's say they enter negative 1 in weight, height 1.75, so it's not calculated. It will go and repeat again to enter your weight and height. But then if it's went for false, which is the value entered does not match this statement, it will go for the BMI calculation. BMI equals to weight divide height power square and display the BMI. Now let's say if the user enter 2 as their choice. So now for 2, the BMI calculate the value from pound and inches. So yes, we have the do while here as well, and this do for the same reason, no negative value and 0, and this do and this under this do, enter your mass in pound, enter your height in inch, will be keep repeated if the user enter negative value or 0 value. But then if it's a false, where the user enter a positive value, it go for the next step, which is BMI calculation. Now here the BMI is calculated by weight divided by height power square, and the value is times with 703 to obtain the BMI value, and then count your BMI. So it's a display your BMI, and here we have used the set precision, which to set the decimal point of the BMI so that easier for our next step. So here is to determine which category is their BMI lays on. So now if BMI less 8.5, it shows they are underweight, and we have some tips of encouragement for the user. But then if the BMI is in between 18.5 and 24.9, it shows normal. If the BMI is in between 25 and 29.9, it shows overweight. And if the BMI is above 29.9, which is 30 and above, it display obese. So that's the code for this program. So let's try an error. Okay. So as we can see, the background is in the white and the word is in the blue, which we use a code to set them up, as I mentioned. And okay, now as I said, we have used do while concept. So let's try enter numbers beside 1 and 2. So I entering 3. So there we can see that it cannot accept the number 3 and it asks us to enter our choice correct again. So I go for kg and height here. So I press 1. Now here we have do while. We have did the do while here as well. So let's give a try and error. Let's say I enter negative 78 and here I enter 0. So there you go. You can see that the value that I enter, which is negative and 0, is make the flow repeated again to enter the weight and height. So now I enter my weight and height, so 78, and my height is 1.78. So when I enter, it calculates my BMI. Your BMI is 24.6, normal. Keep maintain a healthy weight and a follow healthy diet. And I guess this is a output that we expected. Thank you. In this assignment, I can conclude that based from my flowchart that I've drawn, and also the code that I have programmed gives the exact output that I need, which calculate the BMI in kg, meter or pound inches, and also tell the category of BMI without any errors. And if there's any mistake or wrong input, then what is expected? The, the code will ask the user to re-enter again. And all of this can be done by applying the control structure, which is which is selection and also repetitive, to make sure that this program can run well and can be used by an user. So thank you so much. Thank you.